Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who have been following me along my journey, you might have noticed that I've had all my hair cut off. Arlen surprisingly took it well considering he's obsessed with my hair, but it does mean I need to sit a lot closer to him now because he likes to play with it, and when it was longer he could sit at a distance and play with it, but now he's like attached to my head, so I mean extra cuddles, can't complain with that. And for those of you who have just joined my channel, then welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Misha and I am a mum of one 2-year-old boy, and I'm expecting my second baby, hence why this video is a pregnancy update. But yeah, we are expecting our second baby in roughly 5 weeks. So it's all systems go because I have got nothing organised. Most of the videos you're going to find on this channel are parenting or lifestyle or the odd bit of beauty and also some hauls. Anyway, on with my video. Today's video, like I said, is going to be a pregnancy update. I'm 33 weeks today. I'm not really going to give much of an update on the baby because not much has changed since my 31-week video, but I am going to be discussing the labour situation because for those of you who have been following my journey, you might already know that I had quite a traumatic experience with Arlen, and I will talk a little bit about that, and I'll also link my labour story with him. Yeah, so I'm now classed as high risk. I have to make a choice whether or not I want to have a planned section or an early induction. Both will be roughly 2 weeks early, which is why I'll be having the baby in 5 weeks and not 7. Because you might be a bit confused with the dates of my weeks compared to when I'm going to be delivering the baby. That is why. And I will show you my belly at some point as well because I know everyone loves to see a bump date. Let me begin, and I will start with the size of the baby. So at 33 weeks, baby is the size of celery. So yeah, I guess that's pretty long. I'm assuming it's not the width of celery. But yeah, it is roughly 17.2 inches and about 4.2 pounds in weight. It's getting bigger, it's getting a bit chunkier, and yeah, there's not really much else to update on that. The symptoms that I've got are pretty much the same. So that is it really in terms of updating you on the progress of the baby. Nothing really has changed. There's nothing really on the website that was any different. So if you want to find out more about the baby, then you can watch my 31-week video. I will link that below as well, and you can find out my symptoms and more about the baby at that stage when you watch that. So next week at 34 weeks we will be meeting with my consultant, and this appointment was booked when I was, I think, 15 weeks pregnant, and it seemed like so far away, and now it's next week and I cannot believe it. And I remember just feeling super anxious about that appointment, thinking it's so far away, I just want to know when I'm having the baby, how I'm having the baby, what's going to happen when I have the baby. I know I'm high risk, but what does that mean? So I can't wait for that appointment next week. I have seen my consultant throughout my pregnancy because I've had other complications, which I will explain, and I did mention my 31-week pregnancy update, but I will explain it when I'm talking about my decisions of how I'm going to deliver. So yeah, I'm quite excited about this appointment, and hopefully I will get a date, whether I'm being sectioned or induced. Hopefully I will have a date in the diary for when that's happening, because this not knowing is just filling me with anxiety, and I'm really nervous in case the baby comes early, and yeah, I'm just really nervous. So that'll be an exciting appointment. So as I said, the baby is coming 2 weeks early because I am high risk after my labour with Arlen. I will just quickly now explain what happened in that situation. So if you are expecting a baby and you think this might put you off, then please just skip a wee bit because it is quite traumatizing and I don't want to scare anyone. But just put it this way, I went through this and I'm doing it again, so you know, can't be that bad. Well, it was pretty bad, but it can't be that bad if I wanted to do it again. I mean, now it's getting closer, I'm a little bit scared, but let's not talk about that just yet. So with Arlen's delivery, I was induced at 41 weeks. The actual delivery itself ended up being with forceps because he was his heart rate was dropping. My husband was still not here, and they were telling me I was getting forceps and I was having to move to another bed, and it was very dramatic. I was freaking out because he was going to miss the birth, and he made it, luckily, with minutes to spare. But yeah, there was a lot of chaos all around, and so it was forceps delivery, and he was back to back, and he came really quickly, and I needed an episiotomy, and I tore on top of that. So after Arlen was born, he was put in my chest, we found out he was a boy, it was all exciting and lovely, and then next thing I know, I'm getting told that I'm going for a general anaesthetic, and I was like, please let me say goodbye to my partner and my baby. And apparently I'd passed out at this point and I didn't realise, because they'd already left when I woke up, they weren't in the room anymore, so I was passing out, I was going in and out of consciousness because I was losing a lot of blood. They thought it was because I had a 3rd degree tear, which later turned out to be a 2nd degree tear. After investigation they realised that it was my uterus hadn't contracted. So I was losing lots of blood. I ended up losing 8.3 litres of blood, which your body only has like between like 4 and 5 I think litres of blood. So I lost more than my body's worth of blood. So what they were replacing was just coming back out. And it's crazy to think, because yeah, I was under general anaesthetic for quite a while, several hours. I missed my son's first feed. My husband got to feed him his bottle, so I mean, I guess that's something nice for him, but I didn't get to feed my baby, and that's something that really upsets me. But I've kind of got peace of mind that at least it was my husband that did it and not like a nurse, and that he was able to feed, and it wasn't that there was something wrong with him, that it was something wrong with me. But anyway, I ended up with over 30 bags of like blood and blood products, so like your platelets and your plasma and all this other stuff I don't know the names of. The injections in my leg, which helps your uterus contract, I think I had 14 of them when you're meant to only get 1. And my leg was so swollen, my whole body was swollen, and I woke up in intensive care. God knows how many hours later. I think it was about 11 hours after I had Arlen, I woke up in intensive care. So that was my labour. So let's recap. I had a very fast labour. It was 1 hour and 35 minutes exactly from start to finish. I had an episiotomy plus tore on top of that, and tore in several other places. I then lost 8.3 litres of blood. It was a forceps delivery. He was back to back, and I did all that with no pain relief. I don't know how I managed to get through that, but at least I know that it would never be as sore as what it was with that, because I had nothing. And forceps going in when you've got no pain relief is pretty horrific. Let me just tell you that. So as if my labour wasn't traumatic enough, I then ended up having some complications afterwards. About 2 weeks later, maybe just under, I discovered that my wound from my episiotomy had broke down. I couldn't get restitched because it can cause infection, so I had to just let it heal on its own. The trouble with that was it healed at the top and the rest all opened up at the bottom. Sorry, this is really TMI, so please fast forward this if you don't want to listen to it. I'm an open book and I'll talk to anyone about all this because I think it's important, and I wish I knew things like this happened, but I didn't. So I ended up getting a really bad infection a couple of days later after I discovered it broke down. I was really sick, I was shivering. It was almost like flu-like symptoms, but it was because of my wound, my infection. I ended up then with 3 infections, and my wound was taking a long time to heal, and I then got told after about 3 months that it was never going to heal fully because of the top bit healed on its own, and the other part would never be able to join that skin because it was already healed skin, so I was going to be left with a hole, which is not ideal, let's be honest. So in May 2017 I got it kind of removed, kind of opened up a wee bit, so I've just been left with a lot of scar tissue down below, and that itself and my delivery is what's made me high risk for this delivery. So I'm not a high risk pregnancy as such, but I'm high risk delivery. Hopefully none of this will happen again. So now on to my decision of whether I should have an elective section or the early induction. I really don't know what to do. I would love to deliver naturally, however there are some risks, and there are some risks with the section, but I just can't really decide which risks are higher. I'll run through the pros and cons of both. So the pros of delivering naturally are obviously if I deliver naturally, everything might just heal a lot quicker. The baby is going to be 2 weeks early. I'm hoping that means it's going to be a lot smaller than Arlen was. He was 8 pounds 1, and I'm hoping that it means that I'll be able to just pretty much just cough the baby out, you know. I know that's wishful thinking, but yeah, I just think that's like the pros, and I really just want to do it again. I want to have a normal experience. I feel a wee bit cheated out of my first experience that I didn't have that normal holding my baby for hours afterwards and getting our first picture as soon as he's born, and I just feel a wee bit cheated and a bit let down of the whole situation. So that's another pro, like to have that if it all went well, that is. And yeah, I think that's just the main two pros of delivering naturally. I just really want to do it. The cons of delivering naturally, I am really damaged down below, and I also have varicose veins, which I mentioned in my previous video. They are getting worse as the baby's getting bigger. It's actually quite a common symptom. I think it's 1 in 10 pregnancies get it, and I think it's more common the more babies you have. I just think it's something people don't talk about. I do. I like to overshare. So I have that and the damage, and the consultant had said had it been one or the other it wouldn't have really been an issue, but because it's both and because of my history, it's maybe best to consider a section over the natural delivery. So that's where I am with that one. The section, the pros are it'll be a more controlled environment. I will know that I will be having the baby that day for definite. It's not going to be a case of I could get induced and be waiting 3 days and then need a section anyway. I think that's a good plus. It's good for childcare for Arlen. I just want to spend as little time away from him as possible, and to know that it'll be that day and I'll see him the next day and everything will be fine. That kind of puts my mind at ease. And another pro is that obviously, like I just said, I'm damaged down below. I'm not going to cause any more damage to that area. Apparently if I tear too much I could end up with a colostomy bag, and obviously no one wants that. So yeah, that's the pros for a section. And the cons are I really don't want to do it because I don't know, I just really just wanted that. I just wanted my first experience to have been better, and I just want to try and fix that with myself. I don't know. So yeah, that's the cons. And also another con is that the blood loss that I suffered from in my first pregnancy could happen again. If it's something that my body just does, it could happen again, and it doesn't matter whether I delivered naturally or have a section. It could just be my body's reaction, and I could lose the same amount of blood anyway. And another one is because my wound broke down after my first delivery. If my wound broke down on my section scar, then I'd be left with obviously quite a mess, and down there you don't see it, so I don't have to worry about it. I know it's there, it's not pleasant, I need surgery, it can be uncomfortable, but to see it on my stomach every day, I just think that something like that could then cause some psychological things, I don't know, and it terrifies me. So that is the pros and cons to both. I don't know if when I go and see my consultant again next week, if she's going to take the choice away from me because my varicose veins have got worse. She's not seen them for quite a while. Maybe she will decide, no, it's safer to just go for the section, and that's completely fine. I kind of hope that I either just go into labour naturally or I get told I have to have a section, and then the decision is taken away from me because I'm really torn and I cannot decide. I'd love to hear any feedback from you guys. If you've had a traumatic first delivery, did you then opt for a section afterwards, or did you try again naturally? Or I don't like saying naturally because all birth's natural. I just don't like saying vaginal. It's not a nice word, just don't like it. And also my niece is watching this, so yeah, I'll use the term naturally, but you know what I mean. Pushing the baby out. If you have had a natural delivery and pushed the baby out and it was traumatic the first time, did you opt for a natural delivery the second time, or did you opt for a planned section? And also, if you did have a traumatic birth to start with, was your second birth as traumatic? Did everything go okay? Was it so much better? Just let me know, because it might help make my decision, and I've got to make the decision in a week and I'm really stressed about it. Something else I also just want to briefly mention is my mental state at the moment. Mentioned before, I think, if you've been watching, that I see a psychologist, and I've been seeing her since my son was born. That wasn't a choice of mine, that I was told that I had to go because of what I went through, and it was quite a traumatic experience, and they just knew I would have needed some help basically. And at first to be honest, at first I was like, I'm just not gonna go, can't be bothered. But my husband wanted to go, we go together as a couple, and he wanted to go and just see what was said. He's never done anything like this before, so I think he kind of felt it was good. So we did go to the appointment, and I've we're still going now. She's been so much help. I really wanted this baby. I really wanted to get pregnant. I wasn't scared to get pregnant. I wasn't scared to give birth again. I've been fine throughout my pregnancy. My friends have had babies in between this and I've not had any reaction to it up until recently. I don't know if it's just because it's now all of a sudden the same year that I'm going to be giving birth, whether or not it's because we're now in single digit week wise. Also my friend Ailey, her channel is Maisie Meow, she's just had her baby boy, not Oliver, she keeps doing this too, Marcus. She's just had her baby boy Marcus and she was 5 weeks ahead of me and she had him 4 weeks early. I will link her labour story below and she has a video of her section. But I don't know if it's because she's just had her baby and I know I'm next, but since probably about then I have been freaking out about having this baby and I'm now absolutely terrified. I've had a couple of panic attacks, which sounds a bit dramatic, I know, but it's true. I'm telling you, it's real life. My psychologist had told me that I was suffering from symptoms of PTSD and I think I was kind of getting a wee bit better, but now I think it's got worse again and I keep getting triggers where I start freaking out and I can't breathe, my chest is tight, I'm getting lightheaded, I'm getting dizzy and I'm just freaking out, and it's really putting a dampener on the whole giving birth thing and getting to see your baby. I'm now just freaking out. So that's where I am mentally as well. My psychologist has been really good. I'm seeing her the Monday after I see my consultant. We're also going to be going around the hospital and we're going to go in and see one of the theatres where a section would be and hopefully maybe talk to a member of staff, and I'm also going to be getting to just go to the labour ward just so I'm not getting a shock if I have another panic attack or flashbacks or anything, because I've never been in one since having Arlen. I'm nervous. But my psychologist has been really good and she said that if she's working that day she'll come down and be with us, and I'm praying. I'm praying it just all goes okay, and hopefully if I have a good experience this time it will help heal everything from Arlen's lovely. Why can I never get through one of these videos without crying, honestly? Anyway, I'm getting emotional so I'm gonna go. So, happy chat now. I'm going to show you my bump because that's what everyone wants to see, the bump. So here is my bump. So I've got my pyjama bottoms on, so please ignore that. Comfort is everything when you're this pregnant, let's just say. But yes, this is my bump from the front and from the side. And then, there we go. From the front, my belly button is definitely poking out now. And that is it, my 33-week bump. It's definitely grown anyway in the last 2 weeks. And the baby is wriggling about so much right now. Here we go. So that is it for my pregnancy update. I hope you liked it. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm nearly at my target for before the baby will get into 500 subscribers. So I've got 5 weeks to get to 500 and I'm nearly there. So if you want to help me out, then that would be great. But yeah, if you want to subscribe, you can keep up to date with our latest videos. Also find out how my pregnancy journey ends. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!